Hey, YouTube fans of Proxy Table Gaming.
Yeah.
We are here for another of our many book reviews.
Mhm.
Possibly the most important one in Highborn Elves.
It
Uh,
goes already. Straight in.
my ears literally growing as we
Yeah.
speak. Yes, look very much looking forward to this. But if you have missed any of the others, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and click on all the notifications and all that, and go check out all.
Yeah. Now
Um,
you've realised this is the Highborn Elf one. Just go and watch some of the others because this one's just yeah.
yeah. Right. Well, I mean, if you want to miss, that's fine.
No,
If you
don't
want to
actually.
miss,
No, you need to see this.
no, yeah,
You need
absolutely.
to see this.
I'm so
Keep
excited.
watching.
I am so excited for this one. But not too many changes in the book.
No.
So most there
Okay.
won't
Good.
be too many army lists that are
So
completely
you know
broken.
the
Um,
application I made for everything to increase
yeah,
20 points
yeah, that
across the
didn't
board. They declined that, did they? I don't know.
that didn't work. A bit of a wording change for Master of Spellcrafting. Nothing else. Ones and twos always fail regardless for all the
That's
time.
in yeah. That's always yeah. That's everywhere. So.
Meeting of Minds is a
Oh
new
no.
rule. The
It
dragon,
starts already.
the Dragon Model Park Games Channel One. I believe this is part of a bigger thing where
Oh,
dragons are getting more magical. Although I don't know whether it's just highborn dragons.
yeah.
Um,
Well, we didn't see that in Dread Elves. The
no, on the
Imperious
Dragon Ball,
Dragon
or
or whatever.
whether I've missed that or not. But it certainly is the case in High Elves, and I'm very excited for this.
Yeah,
However,
okay.
I'm not. It's a very strong rule. I'm gonna
It,
put that
it
out there.
obviously I would hope that every dragon has been increased by like I mean, how much is an adept cost?
You would hope
95
that.
points?
You would hope that. You're
Don't you
right.
pay 95 points to be an
You
adept?
would hope that
So every dragon is
all
now
the
95 points more. That just
the
makes
Dragon
sense, right?
Forge armor is given not
He's
now
moved on.
two plus
Okay, right? Yeah,
versus flaming. Well, we'll see, won't
good.
we? We'll see whether that has changed.
We will.
uh, 3+ armor save versus flaming is a standard thing across all books. The 2+
Yeah.
save is going, so part of that. So not we're a little bit more vulnerable to pyro now, in some respects.
I think 3 up is still enough to discourage
I
people,
do
if
as
I'm
well.
honest.
I don't think and
Yeah,
it's again ninth age more balancy. So yeah.
yeah.
On to honors and the biggest change and the
Oh
one that's
wow, that's a lot
been
of blue text scrubbed out.
yeah this has been taken down somewhat, quite a few pegs. It's gone down by 50 points. I think I'll just double check that. Master print out. Yeah, so gone down by 50 points.
Right.
It's changed very much so in that it's now just standard protein magic, and
Okay.
it's also lost Sworn Sword as well. So as a model, it's not now associated with the Sword Masters, whereas it kind of rules wise was before. I think that's a fluff reason. I think background is trying to
But
pull them
haven't
away from
they
the Sword Master.
how many spells do they get?
So the
5 spells with it.
5 if you're the High Prince, 2 if you're a commander. I believe.
Oh, is that in Protean Magic? Is just I
Well,
thought
you
Protean Magic was you get every spell number one that you have access to.
well, the reason I'm saying that is because it says you must take 3 additional learned spells for 30 points if you're a High Prince.
Yeah.
And there's no option for the commander to do that. So I can't see why that wouldn't be only 2 spells of Protean Magic. Is that because you're a Wizard Adept?
Yeah, but so why does the High Prince get 3? Maybe I'm missing something with Protean Magic here.
Because on that thing it says must gain 3 additional learned spells.
Yeah, but why would you need to gain 3 if you've already got 5?
Um, I don't think you already have 5. I think the
Do you not?
commander only has 2. I think mechanically, whether that's an oversight in the rules, I'm pretty sure that the commander version would only have 2.
Okay, but that's the part that's been scrubbed out, isn't it?
Yeah. So
I'm just
something
looking
to
at Protean
clarify.
Magic to try and understand that.
Yeah, something to clarify from that point of view. But yeah. So it also doesn't get the
Hmm.
attribute spell from Druidism because Druidism's had a complete change. So the spells themselves have whatever attribute you cast. So shamanism is the shamanism attribute. Cosmology is the cosmology attribute, etc., etc.
Okay, no, I'm with you. No, I am wrong about protein magic. You don't get all 5 of them. You still just choose from those 5.
Yes,
And because you're an adept, you have 2,
sure.
potentially.
But
Yeah, no, I'm with you now.
as a prince, you must gain
Yes.
3 extra, but you still stay
So
as an
you would have
adept.
all 5,
So you're
right?
not a master as when you go into that. So
Yeah, that's just me then. We could probably just edit out that last 5 minutes of my confusion, really. But we won't.
But
So
we
yeah,
won't.
that's
Yeah,
fine.
there we go. But yeah,
Yeah.
otherwise, so it's quite a big change. It's gone down pretty considerably as well. 50 points is a big drop. We'll see how it is. It's
Yes.
the biggest thing is that it's lost its healing mechanic, which is what it was there a lot for.
Yes.
I mean, the spells. I mean, as you can see, for 150 points, are still really useful. Like
Yeah, I
the
mean,
variety you gain is really, really good. But
and
the
you've still got
healing,
Druidism spell 1, which is a healing
yeah.
spell.
So you can get it
But yeah,
once, but every time you cast a spell before you healed, and that was the big
that was huge.
mechanic
Yeah.
that made
Mm.
a lot of lists work. So
Well,
that's gone.
it's a way that Druidism worked for a lot of armies, not just Highborn. So yeah,
Well, yeah, exactly. So
a
getting
lot of the
that,
time you try and get a bit of Druidism in just for that attribute.
yeah,
Now it's not so much the case. So
yeah, that's it. And let's say having it on all those different spells as well was very crucial, really, because
yeah,
you could get Alter Sight, my favourite one, off and get a heal from it, which was incredible, really. So, but that has gone. So, different way of working, very much so in terms of
is
the
Sword
book.
Sworn a big loss?
It's just +1 to hit if you have a great weapon. So, not
Okay,
really.
no,
It means you're less likely to use a great weapon, but because of the way he was, not many people were using the great
yeah.
weapon on him anyway. So, it is what it is.
I think that's a big points decrease for not losing that. That healing is big.
it's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. So,
Okay.
um,
Jury's out on that one. I won't
I don't
complain
think
too
it's
much.
bad by any mean now, but it's quite a big change. So you're going to be using him in a different context. I don't know how much that affects whether you're going to be using a high prince or not. I don't know, but we shall see. We shall see in the long run. But it's a
Sure.
big change to him and to that honor. Queen's Companion is just a rework in terms of a rewording of
Yeah.
to make it a bit easier to understand. I think Queen's
Yeah.
Cavalier is if you're large or gigantic, and I'm just going to check that isn't different. Yeah, so that's the same. Oh, so it used to be large cavalry or gigantic. No, that's the
Okay.
same. No, it's exactly the same. So don't worry about it.
Okay.
Just again, just a rewording and a clarification there. Fleet Officer has lost cover volley, which is a thing that Seaguard have lost. So that's gone basically. So it makes it a bit of an easier thing. No points changes otherwise though, and no other proper reworks like the Monster Chronic Tower.
Yeah, I mean, I've only just noticed that the whole layout of these is different, isn't it?
Yeah, so
they're not
again,
separate paragraphs
all
now. I like
about
this change.
all about decreasing size and page size and text and stuff. So
Yeah.
once I mean, we've shown them on here, but once all the text is gone, which is quite a lot,
They'll be squished up.
they'll be squished up and a bit
amounts of
smaller.
pages. Yeah.
So that helps overall.
The next page even more so.
Yeah, again, it's just clarifications, but more than anything, and rewordings to make it easier to understand. The mechanically, the Asphad Scholar works the same, so still 6 inches and 3 inches on aura. The Order of Fiery Heart still can take pyro and alchemy, so don't worry. It's just a rewording of how you say it can take pyro and alchemy. So don't worry too much. There are no other changes. Special items and from what I can see, there are 0 changes apart from Ring of the Pearl Throne.
I was being patient.
Yeah. So only the one change. Ring of the Pearl Throne's got a lot cheaper, but instead of turning off magic items, it turns off yours and the opponent's weapon. You see this, it is a few other armies have similar access. So Entropic Aura from Warriors, Kingdom of Ectane have, I think it's Tristan's Resolve, turn off another weapon. But more similar to Entropic Aura in that your weapon or your bearer's unit weapons are also turned off as the opponent. So
Yeah.
good.
Interesting. You can take that on a chariot now. I think that's good because you probably would be zipping a chariot in there for that effect.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think you could you not before
Well, it's got all constructs.
all
It's been
constructs.
crossed
So
out. So
yeah, sure. So maybe trying to make the old line chariot characters more viable by this.
yeah, I
But
mean, obviously you're taking a risk putting a character on a chariot anyway.
yeah,
But
but it
this
doesn't mean you
potentially is
can't
a
have a magic weapon as well. So I don't know. Personally, there are better items in the book. But we'll see. We'll see if I'm sure someone will find a way to use it. So
yeah. The blue text on Star Metal Alloy is just a clarification for multiple wounds X. By the way, it was exactly the same as that before. Just its wording.
So yeah, again, that's the only change from that point of view. High Prince, the only change is a few points corrections. Giant
Oh,
Eagle.
the dragon, obviously.
Dragon has
Up 100 points
got more expensive.
by 100
20.
points.
20 points. The Giant Eagle's got more expensive by 25 as well. No, by 10, sorry, because it's gained.
Sorry, did you just moved on, did you?
Well, it's got more expensive.
Or you moved
You're
back?
exactly right. It deserves to get more expensive, right?
I wasn't exactly right, was I?
No, you weren't. Yeah, you were overdoing how good that
What, and the
was.
young dragon and ancient dragon are the same cost,
Yes.
even though they've gained channel.
Yes, they are. That's a very good rule. That's a very good rule. I agree.
I mean,
Giant Eagle is 10 points more expensive because
you're desperate to talk about this giant eagle, aren't you?
I mean, if you want to get hung up on what's OP, then
yeah.
I mean, I agree.
I have viewers to I make promises to our viewers about giving you a hard time about Highborn Elves. So
yeah, no, yeah, tell me about it. The Giant Eagle has gone up by 10 points because it's gained hard target. So that's
only 10 points for hard
good.
target. Wow.
Yeah, I don't think that'll matter on a High Prince. I think it'll matter on other choices.
Sure.
I think the High Prince has other dragons mainly.
I was going to say, yeah,
to go on. It's very similar respect in terms of the commander. The Giant Eagle and the dragon have got more expensive.
Not all the dragons, but yeah.
Well, no, the young dragon isn't more expensive. But I can't see people choosing the young dragons for reasons we'll come on to later as character mounts. Mage. Again, the dragon and the giant eagle have become more expensive, not by much. And I think this is probably where the biggest change is for the giant eagle. I think that makes giant eagle a little bit more.
That's 25 points. How much was it before?
15. So it's only gone up by 10.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But I think that's going to be more useful for the mage. Again, for reasons we'll come on to.
Yeah.
So. That's characters. Only a few points changes, really. Otherwise, they stay the same. Giant Eagle, as I said, as a character mount, has gained hard target 1, which is good. Really good.
That's excellent.
The dragons have, I think, I'm going to check the things. The young dragon has lost... Oh, no, it's gained, actually, in ground movement. And obviously got meteor mines. So, overall, massive buff to the young dragon.
For no points increase at all.
That's why it's a buff.
A massive buff.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah.
The dragon has gained ground movement and gained meteor mines. Gone up a little bit, but probably not enough from that point of view. So another buff on that. Ancient dragon, exactly the same, although has lost a march. So 714 now across the board, rather than 716.
So, yeah. I mean it's an interesting one because dragons really suffered from those scenarios that said flying movement cannot be used. Now they just don't care, apart from the fact that they have to.
Not massively, because it's only 1 inch in terms of things. But yeah, I agree. It makes it easy to understand and a simple thing. Although then I guess it's arguable why they've got a ground and a fly movement if they're both going to be the same anyway. But I get it.
Well, there's other things that are different and justifiably different because of their body structure, I guess. I mean, I haven't actually had a chance to ask a dragon whether he's quicker on his feet than he is with his wings, but
I don't know. Historically,
maybe some scientist has decided. Yeah.
But yeah, overall, dragons have definitely got some big love from this update so far, and that's not even half of it. On to core, and all the same apart from Seaguard. Seaguard have got considerably cheaper.
What?
They've lost cover volley as a mechanic.
Oh, thank goodness.
Which was interesting and confusing at the same time mechanic.
It was one of those things that you go into a battle against Highborns and you're like, right, remember the Seaguard have got cover volley. I need to remember, don't charge them because they'll do this, etc. You get to turn 4 and you just, right, I'll charge them, and you're cover volley.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was ready for that at the start of turn 1, and now I've forgotten it, and now I'm really annoyed. Good, it's gone.
Yeah, for sure. However, they have gained marine training, which is shooting any rank, which, as far as I can tell, means you can go 5 wide and have like 30 of you, so all 6 ranks shoot. Which considering they've dropped by 40 points and 5 points per model after that, I'm very surprised how much they rate this compared to cover volley, because I think this is better, personally.
Am I meant to speak at this point? I'm speechless. That's incredible.
It's a good rule. It's a good.
So you can just be 5 wide. You can be in bus formation and shoot.
I believe so. I think that's how you're doing it. So,
because I mean, bows are 24 inches, aren't they? So
bows are 24, so rather than 30.
You're not talking a
cover
small
volley meant they shot
either.
Twice, or potentially in a turn. So I guess you're gaining. You're probably only get because you went wide before, right? So you're probably gaining if you go a max unit 6.
So does this mean that spearmen are no longer needed?
Spearmen
gave you the ranks that Seaguard didn't do.
Well, they give you the ranks. However, spears are fighting extra rank, whereas Seaguard aren't.
Right.
Okay. So they used to be
shooting in every rank.
Yeah, they used to be shooting extra rank anyway, which is why it's not that much of a change. It just means that the way that you put them in formation will, which means they won't lose the ranks by shooting. So yeah,
I think that's strong.
Really interesting. I think it's strong as well, and I'm very, very interested to see that it's gone down by that much per.
Play them now, unit. I would suggest.
Absolutely. Moving on, Swordmasters are the same. Lion Guard are the same. Flame Wardens have been given some love, a bit cheaper across the board. I think that's an internal, what do they call it? Internal balance change.
Yes. I mean, I guess that's because Rending Banner is gone.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Rending Banner was the only banner that you put on Flame Wardens.
Yeah, it used to be. So yeah, just to make them a bit more balanced in tune with everything else. The Knights of Rhymer, interesting, have lost the devastating charge but gained an attack all the time.
That's a buff.
Yeah, I think so, because you were always getting the attack on the charge anyway. So the fact that you've got it not on the charge, I think is a buff overall. So
I suppose it gives you a slight chance of surviving a grind.
Maybe. I don't know. I can't. It gives you more of a chance for sure, but and it definitely got better because of that. But I can't. Yeah, I don't think you'll be getting the Knights of Rhymer change is big enough to like suddenly put them all in.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a nice change for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously had a big rivalry between the Knights of Rhymer and your Cross Phoenix in the last tournament where you took Highborns.
It's definitely a positive for Knights of Rhymer, and hopefully that will help them out a bit. But
is it enough for you to continue that rivalry?
Well, I don't know.
Or are you just still, because your conclusion was Frost Phoenixes are better?
I think so. In the course of maneuverability and everything like that. I guess one of the parts of that is that now the Phoenix have got cheaper.
Okay, which we'll see in a minute.
Which will also help for that. There is the biggest reason for that though, and Warden's Bond has got cheaper as well. The biggest reason for that is if it dies and then comes back, it doesn't gain its points. So if it dies, it dies points wise, which was a good change, I think, overall, because it was an annoying thing for the opponent to.
How many points has it gone down by?
20.
Okay,
and the Warden's Bond 20 on top of that as well. So
okay.
You could go much more than that because it's a good model anyway. But I think what that does is it stops frustrations from the opponents and things like that. So I don't think it is a nerf to the Phoenix mechanic, but they've got a bit cheaper, and the Warden's Bond. So when they come back, they can still act as chaff, So they can still be what they were before. You just lose their model, their points.
Their points.
Also, obviously, with the healing mechanic being nerfed, they're less likely to stay on the board and come back with more wounds. So
sure.
There's that as well. But I don't think
have they got towering presence? They haven't got towering presence, have they?
They are gigantic, so I think they do.
Oh, they are. Yes, I didn't see that. Yes, so they can't get the buffed Druidism spell one. They can only get one per turn.
Yeah.
From Druidism.
But not too much of a change. It's just more of a gaming thing and complexity thing as well. They have the Fire Phoenix has lost the 2+ to Flaming, but that's across the board.
Yeah, I'm just scooting back up to Giant Eagles. I know we've gone past them, but they haven't gained hard target 1, which is, I think, good because it means their prices haven't had to go up.
Yes, so the special hasn't, but the mount has.
Yes, exactly. So it's a character Giant Eagle thing.
Yeah.
That's got a hard target.
Moving down onto the biggest change of the Highborn Elves and the most exciting and just incredible things.
I'm going to let you talk now.
Sure. The Young Dragon is now a special character choice, which is incredible in itself. I think it was something that was talked about for a while. So as a maybe a young dragon cav type thing and all that stuff, but they've come out as a sort of magical dragon, being a dragon mage initiate of the Fiery Heart, and it's awesome. It's so good, and I think really cheap. It's 320 points for a young dragon with a breath weapon, all the things that the young dragon used to do. So flaming attacks as a whole model. Stomp attacks D3. It can be an adept as alchemy or pyro. In fact, it has to be an adept, and it also has the meeting of minds. So it's actually a channel 2 model with an adept that doesn't come out of character allowance, which is always so precious for high elves. And I think this is going to be. I don't want to say it's auto take, but it's very, very, very close to. And especially as it's 320 points, like it's cheaper than the Phoenixes, which to me is mental. And this makes every dragon user happy because there's more dragons on the board and not out of character allowance, which is amazing.
Okay, so looking at the comparison to the character allowance, you are paying 30 points less for this version compared to a mage on a young dragon.
Yeah, I think this is well cheaper. So
what stats wise is the young dragon here different to the
I think a
dragon?
lot of the time, in terms of unit to it's hard to do unit to mount comparison because the mounts have options to magical items that can make them even better. So I think you get attacks for that anyway. But in terms of stats wise, it's actually 1 less defense because the character would be higher. Offense being 4, I'm not sure. I can't remember whether that's the same for a young dragon.
It's interesting that the whole dragons have all gained channel, but this one obviously hasn't. So it's still because it's a wizard adept anyway. From the mage.
The dragon itself has meeting of minds though, so it's a channel.
Not this young dragon doesn't.
It's
in the meeting of minds part. Oh, so it is channel 2. Then.
So it's channel 2, yeah. So this whole model is channel 2.
Wow.
And you have 2 spells from either alchemy or pyro. It's 0 to 2 in the army, I think it's great. I think it's so good. It's a massive plus to the Highborn roster, and
because a mage is 230 points.
Oh, the character is going to be well more expensive. I think you're looking at possibly a 400, 500 point model from character allowance. So the fact that you can
350 is your character choice if you just have a mage and a young dragon.
Yeah.
So it's not that much different.
No, I guess not. But I guess you would never have that character without any magic items as well. So I think it's great. It's great. And it doesn't come from character allowance, so you can have more characters.
That's a big thing.
Yeah,
it's a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So this is by far and away the biggest change in the book, and it's so good. It's
you know what? I'm gonna hold myself back and allow the comment section to express their thoughts.
Absolutely, and please do. I'm very interested. I personally think it's cheap, and I think it's and I think it's really good, and I think what you can do with it, the army list design can be so different now, and as you already know.
So, I mean, we've had this discussion ourselves, and I'm going to put it on here because it's obviously going to go out in a video. When we saw that Saurian Ancients had channel in core,
yes,
we were like, wow, that's powerful. And sure enough, the next update that came along, it was gone. Highborn Elves are now getting channel on dragons.
Yeah, so...
And it doesn't look like they're having to pay for it.
Yes. I don't know whether or not there was a consensus that dragons needed a buff. I don't know, and that's the way it's done it. I can't see this staying the same price. This would be 350 minimum. I think going moving forward, but we will see. I guess from that point of view, the negatives, I guess, are res 5 and 3 up armor. So
wasn't it that anyway? A young dragon.
Yeah, again, yeah, but I don't think anyone was ever taking a young dragon without an Aegis save. Because of magic items, and so.
Whereas I guess this special choice, you can't have anything.
There's no options. Yeah. This is what it is. The option is
that is what you lose for having it in special.
So, but I don't think that's a terrible thing overall. I think it's a good trade-off, and I think they gain from it for sure. For having, I mean, you can have two of these, so you could have 4 channel and 2 adepts from not characters.
Yeah. So what's your ancient allies cap, by the way?
So ancient allies are 3, so these count for 1 each. With the Queen's Companion, you can gain an extra 2.
Oh right. Okay.
So you can go up to 5. So which I think is where if you have these, you'll be looking towards that to see if you can gain it as much as possible.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. You mean Queen's Cavalier, but that's
Cavalier. Fine. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. I didn't know at all. So you got closer than I did. Yeah. Okay. So you could have 2 of these guys.
You can
2 phoenixes.
No, because
2 dragons.
Well, no, absolutely not. So dragons are 2, ancient dragons are 2, phoenixes are 1. You could
dragons are 2.
And if you have Queen's Cavalier, everything from your hero section has to be on a giant or a large thing. So a lot of the time you're going to have more than 1 character. I guess you might not. You could potentially have 2 of these, 2 phoenixes, and a character on a young dragon, but you wouldn't be able to have any other characters on any dragons or anything like that.
Sure. You could have 2 characters on young dragons.
Not if you wanted 2 phoenixes. You could do that for 1 phoenix, because phoenixes are 1 ancient allies.
Sure, but was it 6 the total?
5 to max.
Oh, 5. Right, yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, there's
still a lot of flying, flappy.
Loads of flying. You can definitely have at least 5 flying things going around. So yeah, and obviously ancient dragons.
Is that good for the game?
Well, I don't know. Is it? There's a lot. I think the fact that you can do flying. These guys aren't great in combat. They have the breath weapon, which does make them better.
I mean, I've been grilling you for ages about the whole, like you're using your mages as dragon mounts when you could just put them on eagles.
So I mean, the dragon mage itself, 1 attack, strength 3. Who cares about that?
Don't worry about that.
Young dragon, 4 attacks at strength 5 is not. It's not bad, but it's not like you're not going in. It's a support piece, really, combat wise. But you
is there still the +2 attacks from alchemy thing?
No.
Or is that gone?
No. So that is a Order of the Fiery Heart honor on the character. So again, the character on the young dragon had access to making the young dragon 6 attacks. So there's a lot of things.
So this one doesn't have that.
Yeah, this is a proper bog standard young dragon, but it's not in the mounts or the character section, which is
okay.
So it is what it is, really. The whole model has flaming attacks, so a lot of its attacks from benefit from the alchemy attribute. And Stomp D3 is always useful on a large cavalry, so that's good. But it's not going into anything, and it's not going to whirly anything on its own. It's definitely a support piece.
Sure.
But I suppose you can have multiple flying things makes it easier to support what you want to support. So.
Yeah, and I suppose with alchemy, you've got Word of Iron, so you can increase your armor. And with Pyromancy, you've got the new Cloak of Cinders, so you can make it harder to wound you. So
jury's out what's better, Pyro or Alchemy. I have a feeling that having some Pyro missiles going around everywhere is pretty good. But the new change to Pyro, the new change to Pyro is interesting as well. So one of each is.
I think Cloak of Cinders is brilliant for these.
It's great for elves anyway, as a rest of the army. So this is fantastic, and we could go on for another half hour.
I think we could talk for a long time. It's worth discussing. But
overall, a great change and something you would definitely see me trying out in the future.
I think number 1 with a bullet, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Slight change in the Seaguard Reaper / Sky Sloop mechanic.
Okay.
Rather than coming from a section, they're just saying for every Sky Sloop you can't have a Seaguard Reaper. It's similar to the bows and war machines from Kingdom of Octane.
It's just capping your bolt throwers, basically, isn't it?
Yeah, so you can have 0 to 3 of them, and as we scroll down, 0 to 2 of the Sky Sloop, but overall, as a max, you can have 3 of them combined. So, obviously 2 Sky Sloops and 1 bolt thrower.
So before, you could have like 5 bolt throwers, could you?
No, it's 3, points-wise anyway. But it's just basically a way to stop the cap, a different way to cap them.
Yeah.
Queen's Guard and Grey Watchers stay the same as well, which thankfully takes us to the end of this very long review on basically dragons.
Well, I think I've grilled you a suitable amount. I could be worse, but I think the comment section will back me up where needed.
I think.
Come on, Tommy.
Yeah,
Tommy,
absolutely.
I'm looking at you.
Well, Tommy's is about 10 comments anyway. But no, overall, Highborn Elves, I think, have got a really, really good review and update.
Your army has got some real changes to it. I mean,
real
you've got
changes.
Rymar. Assuming you stick with the same army, which I know you won't, you've got Rymar that have changed. You've got dragons that have changed. And you've got Seaguards that have changed. Your army has basically changed.
Also, the Master of Cameron Tower as well. I think that's going to change a lot for a lot of people, and was a crutch sort of mechanic that really, really helped us out and use some of the things. So the way you use stuff is going to change slightly. You're going to have to be a bit more reserved and
I think the fact that you've got to make the effort to cast the druidism is a big difference.
But there are definitely some other buffs elsewhere. So I'm very excited, and you definitely do get the feel that it's a dragon army, which I think was one of the main things from it. So I personally am very, very happy with this update and excited to play it.
You're right.
Let us know what you think of the army and of all the changes and how OP they are. And otherwise,
I'll be first on the comments.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. Like, share, subscribe. Check us out on all the things. Do hit the notification button because we've got so much more coming on.
We have.
But otherwise, we will see you a little bit later.